The latest chapter in the ongoing saga of Elon Musk's Twitter acquisition saw him having a virtual meeting with their staff. That might seem strange considering he's not their boss yet, but it was a strange meeting overall. In this video, we'll dive into the minutes of Elon Musk's Twitter meeting and parse what that means for the company. First up, what was on Musk's agenda? The meeting was heralded to Twitter's staff by their CEO, Parag Agrawal. It was good news for the employees since they were wringing their hands over what their future would be if, or really when, Musk completed his acquisition of the company. While there's no official report of what went down from the meeting, a lot of the things discussed were later tweeted by Nola Weinstein, the global head of brand experiences and engagement at Twitter. Other details were revealed by the press. There's a lot to take in, folks, so strap in. If Twitter's employees were worried about their future with Musk at the helm, there was little to reassure them at this meeting. He was frank in saying that Twitter's costs are currently exceeding revenue, and that means layoffs are on the way. He's also unhappy with parts of the status quo at Twitter. We already know he's annoyed about the bots, but he also criticized the content moderation and user safety policies Twitter currently enforces. Finally, he told employees that he didn't like how many of them were working from home currently. The good thing was that he said so in a more professional language this time, because his last remark about Twitter's work from home policy was a lot more blunt. At that time, he called for the company's San Francisco headquarters to be turned into a homeless shelter. While talking to Twitter's staff, he expressed a more restrained preference for people working in the office. So things are looking pretty bad for the staff at Twitter. If Musk doesn't fire people straight away, they might end up resigning themselves over his policies. The tech industry in the US has seen a seismic shift towards hybrid and remote work structures, and Musk is one of the few high-profile tech moguls who's still insisting on the old ways of working. But what does Musk want for Twitter? With close to 100 million followers, it's clear that Elon Musk is one of the biggest fans of the platform. As we've seen, though, he isn't exactly enamored with some of the finer points of their policy. What vision did he describe for the platform going forward? Well, obviously, he wants the platform to grow. He envisioned Twitter as having 1 billion users, all anonymous. Despite what some people took away from his comments about verifying all users, Musk actually thinks that anonymity is a key feature of Twitter. When you've got nothing to lose, you can speak more freely, and Elon Musk is all about free speech. The other pillar of his vision is user engagement. He wants to make Twitter a platform that people can't live without. Although he acknowledges this is already true to an extent, he sees Twitter becoming the genuine center of people's universes. Two examples he highlighted were TikTok and WeChat. The former is obviously a huge success in user count and engagement, but the WeChat comparison is more illuminating. WeChat, if you didn't know, started off as a replacement for WhatsApp and iMessage in China, but it has grown into something much more. Within this one app, you have instant messaging, a social media feed, and cardless payment. That's in addition to the mini programs you can download for WeChat, which are basically apps within the app. There were so many other features that WeChat offers that it would take forever to list them all. That's what Elon Musk wants for Twitter. He wants it to be the new super app that's all things for everyone. Can he succeed in doing so? WeChat doesn't have much company in the super app world, and most of those competitors are all based in Eastern Asia. Musk wants his super app to be worldwide, which is what Meta was trying and failing to do a few years ago. But before we get to the question of whether Musk can achieve his vision, we have to ask, is Elon Musk really going to buy Twitter? Some analysts say that this meeting is a show of commitment from Musk that he's serious about Twitter. Looking at the facts doesn't always help in figuring Musk out, but we have to try, right? It has long been reported that Musk forgot to check his wallet before signing the $44 billion deal to acquire Twitter, and that's left him in some trouble. He's had to liquidate a vast swathe of his Tesla stock to raise the funds to buy the platform, which in turn has killed investor confidence in Tesla. What was once considered the hottest stock on Wall Street has lost a chunk of its value in the process, and the deal hasn't closed. The volatility of the situation has also led to a loss in share value for Twitter itself. Musk essentially bought all the shares of the company at $54.20 per share, and yet Twitter's stock is currently valued a lot less than that, meaning at this time Musk is looking at overpaying for the platform. About the only reassurance that Musk will actually go through with this deal is that he'll have to pay a $1 billion fine if he reneges. Even that's cold comfort, though. $1 billion is a lot less than the $44 billion he'd have to pay to buy Twitter, but there's actually a way for Musk to avoid paying even that. If he can prove that Twitter would cause him a material adverse effect, he can back out without paying the fine. There was a lot of speculation that Musk's obsession with the Twitter bots was an attempt to exploit this loophole. Elon Musk is one of the most volatile and unpredictable individuals to to ever have ended up with billions of dollars in net worth. Either he believes in Twitter enough to cause an actual loss to his other businesses, or this is just more market manipulation from him. Or maybe he's genuinely made a mistake and wants a way out. We won't know for sure until we actually get to the end of this story. Next, in other news, say goodbye to screenshots of the Notes app. The drama with Elon Musk is business, but Twitter is moving ahead with development of new features. They made headlines with an experimental edit button, and now they've announced their test of a new Notes function. While Twitter has become an essential platform for people to communicate with each other, the low character limit was always something that held the platform back. That limit came from Twitter's SMS heritage, but the company views it as a signature feature. It also gave rise to a variety of text hosting services that people could link to in their tweets, allowing them to share longer messages. And in recent years, screenshots of Apple's Notes app or similar apps have become a common sight on the platform. Notes are special kinds of tweets that can far exceed the usual 280 character limit. Twitter is currently planning for Notes to have a very generous limit of 2,500 words. They'll also allow for images and GIFs to be inserted into the Notes online. The obvious benefit to this would be that users will no longer have to leave Twitter to see longer messages, which will increase user engagement overall. And we know someone who'd be very happy to hear that. Meanwhile, Elon Musk returns to Twitter with some good news. He met the Pope. That's exciting, right? After taking a quick leave of absence from Twitter in late July, the world's most serial tweeter returned to the platform with three things that we really needed to see. First came an ode to Minecraft YouTuber Technoblade, who passed away from cancer at the age of 23. The ode came with a picture and quote from Sonic the Hedgehog. Next was a complaint about being bored, and he shared an image of himself in costume with a woman in Venice. And while he was in the hood, he apparently dropped by to pay a visit to none other than Pope Francis. He was accompanied on this visit by his 4 sons, but not his daughter, who recently cut ties with him. There must be some further context to this meeting, but we don't have it. In other words, it's business as usual on Elon Musk's Twitter. On the other hand, it's all bad news at Tesla. Tesla has had some struggles scaling up their production, but they had a 2-year streak of increasing production levels. That streak came to a screeching halt in the second quarter of 2022, with production falling short of their target. It wasn't a huge failure. They failed to meet their record of 310,048 cars delivered, but they're still well over the 201,250 deliveries they'd made at this point last year. Musk blames it on supply chain and factory disturbances in Shanghai caused by a new wave of the coronavirus, and he's warning investors that there could be a tough quarter ahead. That's it for our tech and social network coverage today. What did you think of the events of Elon Musk's Twitter meeting? Do you agree that the company requires a major shakeup? And how do you feel about Musk's vision for Twitter's future? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't worry, YouTube doesn't have a character limit. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe too.